moving right along here, we have another pile of winners, which I'm super excited about to share with you today. And I'm going to show each of their awards as each of them come on to share today. So we have my good friend, Dr. Carla Burkhalder, who's with Schertz-Cibolo-Universal City Independent School District in Texas. That's a big mouthful. And Dr. Lakeisha Brinston, who's Director of Instructional Technology and Library Services from Nashville Public Schools in Tennessee. Also Tekeshia Hollis, Assistant Principal from Midtown High School, Atlanta Public Schools, and Amy Berns, who's the Principal from Edison School of the Arts in Indianapolis Public Schools. These are awesome people, all four of us. So we're going to have a good hour together. Karla and I could probably talk just alone for an hour. I know we could because we've known each other for so many years, but we're going to be fair to Lakisha, Tekeshia, and Amy. I want to show you guys all your awards first because I'm super proud of all of you. So let's start out with that. All right. So Schertz-Cibolo, this is your certificate. You also get to use the little logo now everywhere. Innovator Level. This is huge. Awarded for rapid implementation of operational order through adoption of learning management system, inventory management, and many digital resources. You know, we try to keep these little descriptions short so they fit on the slide. It's not like an eye test to read them all, but there's so much more to say. And that's what we're going to get into within the hour. So, because we can't possibly cover it all, you know that, Karla, but I am super proud of you. All right. So next winner, Metro Nashville. Love you guys. Have known everyone over there for a really long time. Here's your award. You're an innovator. Awarded for driving towards personalized learning with a robust digital transition, including student dashboards, creating individual agency and achievement. This is huge for kids. Plus coordinated data-driven innovations district-wide. You guys are a family over there, and it shows. So congratulations. And then Midtown High School, Atlanta Public. Good to have you with us. Awarded for attention to tech details within a sophisticated strategy, not just tactics, and continuous measurement and proven achievement. This is very well done, very well done. So thank you for being with us today. And then also, Indianapolis Public is really for the school itself, right? Which we didn't put on the slide, and we'll have to correct that. But you're awarded for providing access to one-to-one technology, computer labs, and digital resources for learning that particularly focus on enhanced personalization of lessons for every student. So it's that focus there. That's the reason, Amy, that we gave you guys this award. And again, it should name your high school on there. So we need to correct your slide. And you probably have a lot more resources than just that. But congratulations, you're also awarded an Innovator Award. So let's go back to talking about each of you. Dr. Carla Burkhalder, hello. So I want to introduce you first and have you give like a little background of what's been going on with you, and then we'll make sure everybody else here is introduced, and then we're going to go to rounds of questions if you guys are ready for that. Okay, so Carla, go ahead.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Oh, hello, LeiLani. It's good to see you. Good to see everybody else who's on joining us for the gathering. It's always an exciting time. I'll tell you a little bit about Schertz-Cibolo-Universal City ISD. Yes, it is a mouthful, so we say SCUC ISD. We are a large school district. We are just northeast of San Antonio. We're near Randolph Air Force Base. We'd like to say San Antonio is our largest suburb. We have 17 campuses, 8 elementary, 3 intermediate, 2 junior high, 2 comprehensive high schools, 1 accelerated high school, and a disciplined campus. We have approximately, we're sitting right at 16,000 students, 2,000 employees. We have a very large military population. You would expect that being close to an Air Force base. We're only 73 square miles. So in geography, we're pretty small. But what makes our district interesting is that we have a lot of rooftops and very low commercial tax base, which makes innovation sometimes a challenge. But we're learning to navigate that. So that's a really good thing. This year, the vast majority of our students are learning on campus. We have a handful, and I mean literally a handful, that are learning virtually through a specific curriculum content platform. Our technology department, just put in perspective, is very small. We have 41,000 devices, not digital resources, not assets, devices. And we have 5 technicians. And we have 3 instructional technology coordinators. We have 1 mobile device manager. I'm just going to say they work miracles every day. So this year we are, like everyone, working to close the learning gaps with students. And specifically for us in technology, especially instructional technology, we're working to help teachers understand the difference between remote teaching and learning and blended learning and even computer-based instruction, so that we can help them continue the momentum of what they were able to accomplish during the pandemic.
Well, thank you for that overview. I think I forgot to have your slides up here earlier, right? Did you guys see the slides? Well, no wonder. I need to be told when I'm not sharing my screen, obviously. Okay, so let's show these. This is your award for SCUC.
We've been busy.
Yeah. And Metro Nashville, your award. Like I said, you're going to get to use these little EduJedi logos on your stuff. Midtown, your award, and Indianapolis Public. I'm sorry, I was talking about your slides and you're like, what is she talking about? We don't see anything. What? So you got to tell me next time I do that. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to stop sharing and go back to just talking to you guys. So Dr. Lakeisha Brinston, you guys are adorable, like I said, and you operate like a family, and you've been awesome all the way along the line. So why don't you give us your little overview as our latest EduJedi Level awardee.
Hi, everyone. So Lakeisha Brinston from Metro Nashville Public Schools. So Music City, for all of you music lovers. We have approximately 79,000 students, 10,000 employees. We are a one-to-one school district. As of July of last year, we have a total of 159 schools. We will be considered the 38th largest district in the U.S. One of the things that we take pride in MNPS is that we have a very diverse population. So we have about 126 different languages that are spoken among our students, and our EL population, English language learner, of about 21%. So that's a little bit about MNPS.
Yeah, awesome. And I can't wait for you to weigh in on all my questions that I'm going to pelt you guys with, which is, that's what you get for being an award winner. But Lakisha, thank you for joining us today. All right, Tekeshia Hollis. So awesome assistant principal, apparently, down there running things. Give us your overview.
Good afternoon. We're an urban city, a part of the City of Atlanta schools. We have about 150 employees, 97 of which are teachers. And we have about 1,550 students, and very diverse in population. We also, with that population diversity, we have the largest number of homeless students in the City of Atlanta, and have a real dichotomy of, I hate to say it like this, have and have nots. Because of that, just the social economic diversity as well. We are one-to-one as of, I guess, during the pandemic, but officially district issued devices in August. And we have a large population of students with 504s, so medical disabilities, ADHD. And then we have a a growing population of Hispanic students, and probably about 20% free and reduced lunch.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So lots to deal with. I have a lot of questions for you then. But I love the submittal from you into the survey this year. So congratulations. And all right. So we're going on to Amy Berns, who is a principal from Edison School of the Arts in Indianapolis Public School. You're an innovator. Congratulations. You want to give us a little background?
Sure. So hello, I'm Amy Burns, principal over at Edison School of the Arts. We are somewhat of a unique situation here in Indy. So we are an innovation school within Indianapolis Public Schools. And so basically what that means is we have pretty much full autonomy as an innovation school. However, we our students are Indianapolis Public students. Our enrollment also counts for Indianapolis Public Schools. We do have a lot of great opportunities through this innovation partnership too, where we, in terms of like the one-to-one devices, Indianapolis Public Schools is obviously right in the heart of our city in Indianapolis. The whole district, we serve approximately 32,000 students. We are also an urban district. We serve the whole range of students from, students who are, like what you were saying earlier, have-nots as well. Very, very diverse backgrounds, very diverse student population, lots of high needs students as well. And so also within our building as an innovation school, we are a visual and performing arts school. And so also during this time, we were trying to also continue to offer these unique experiences that Edison is known for through all the different digital apps and Zoom and all these things as well. So we also shifted to the one-to-one devices the year of, let's see, it would have been 2021. And so, we also faced a lot of things that I'm sure similar schools did too, of the equity and how are our students going to get access to Wi-Fi device, like all of that, to be able to continue their learning. And so Indianapolis Public Schools did an amazing job of working extremely hard with community and partners within the city to make that happen for all of our students here in Indianapolis.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, good overview. So I want to talk first about, what's been your favorite thing that has been an accomplishment you feel like you're proud of, for your institution in the last year. I want to go there with you first. And so I'm coming back to you guys in order. It's just better to keep in order, right? Than don't mess anybody up. So, Carla, what are you most proud of?
So I am proud that we were able to successfully implement a learning management system. For a lot of districts, most districts have already done that, but for us, we had Google Classroom available. We had some teachers who were using it, but not a lot. But we've known for several years that we need a robust learning management system, but our folks just were not ready for that. So, unfortunately, pandemic came, but fortunately, the teachers jumped on really fast. So we were really proud of them for doing that. So they hopped onto Google Classroom, they pivoted, everything was fantastic. In the meantime, we formed a LMS committee and vetted some more robust systems and settled on Schoology, which turned out to be a really good choice because the state also purchased Schoology, and that was helpful for us to be able to take advantage of that. So while we jumped on Google Classroom, we also launched a new LMS right in the middle of the pandemic. I don't recommend that, but we did it. And our teachers hung in there with us. And so what I'm really proud of is all that the teachers have been able to accomplish through it all the past year.
Awesome. Awesome. Great one. All right. So Lakisha, share with us what you're thinking.
I'll piggyback a little bit off of what Carla shared. One of the things I'm proud of as well is that our district, we had Schoology for about 2 years, but we were using it more with fifth through 12th graders. So as soon as COVID hit, we knew that we needed to expand our reach with that. So we now have Schoology in grades K through 12. Our kindergarten population uses Flipgrid, which is still awesome. Another thing I'm most proud of actually is our team, my team, who really led the charge in making sure our teachers felt secure and confident in being able to help our teachers use strategies that they weren't familiar with online, but really get in their heads that we are transferring some of your best practices that you used in the classroom in person to a virtual setting. So we were able to train, although I really don't like the word train, we were able to, it was a training because it was only 2 hours. Throughout when pandemic hit, we were able to train 8,000 of our teachers in 2 days over how to design their virtual classroom, what tools the district had provided, some strategies from our curriculum coaches. So it was very a robust plan that included not just instructional tech and library, but also our curriculum team. Another shout out is our library. We're one team, which is kind of unique. I have instructional tech and library under my umbrella. So our library team was able to do curbside service for our students. But more importantly, we were able to use a program, leverage a partnership called Limitless Libraries, which gives digital access to databases, ebooks, audiobooks for all of our students. So some fun stuff happening.
Wow.
In the
Something, yeah, those are really things to be proud of. That's really awesome. Okay, great. Tekeshia, what are your thoughts on things you're proud of?
I was writing down limitless learning, so I'm sorry. It's really going to echo what the lady said before, except for it's site-based. So I'm most proud of having started a digital plan, a technology plan at the school, because when we transitioned to being virtual, we still taught the whole entire time. And the teachers we had already merged to Google Classroom. The district was using it, but it wasn't mandated at that time. But we made it a Band-Aid for our site so that once we went virtual, the teachers were used to it, the students were used to it. We understood how to get on Google Meets. But so the teachers weren't as stressed about that. What the issue was for us was similar to what Dr. Lakisha was just saying. It is transitioning from a brick and mortar version of instructional strategies and teaching and knowing what to do in a virtual environment. So we did like a 2-day summit. Hate to steal that from the previous set of presenters, where we, over that summer, trained teachers on the tools that we thought were going to be best, because I figured we were still going to be virtual last school year, and gave surveys to parents to find out what they thought was working and not working, and took that information to transition to the virtual hybrid, whatever we've been in since, right? And so we did we are currently transitioning to a learning management system. And so I'm gonna steal what the first person just said. We formed what's called our tech nights, because we were Midtown nights. And so the tech nights team got together. I created like a protocol for picking which learning management system we were using, and we have adopted Schoology as well as of August of 2021, and it's only for our site. So the district is still on CMSs, which is content management systems, but from a perspective of the executive functioning skills that the students need. We have a lot of ADHD students, the needs of our special ed population. A CMS is not enough. And I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir when I say that with this group of people. So that's what I'm most proud of.
Well, good. Those are serious things to be proud of because you really made a giant leap for putting your own LMS in. That's huge. Well done. All right. So Amy, what do you want to share about your wins and what you're most proud of?
Yeah, so I think, reflecting back on everything that was accomplished, one, first and foremost, like I couldn't ask for a better team of teachers and staff during this time. And I think we really learned, if anything, how we do function stronger when we are together with things. And by saying that, we were preparing to open up initially in session. And so, my instructional leadership team, we worked diligently over the summer trying to plan as best as we could during this time that consistently changed. And we had to flip pretty quickly. We found out probably about 2 weeks before we were set to open that we were going to be opening 100% virtual. And so we quickly shifted everything that we could. We were able to, fortunately, have the funds to be able to pull our entire staff in for an additional week of not even necessarily professional development, but time to be able to get to learn these different platforms we're now going to be using. How do we effectively reach our students through a computer screen? Like, how do you build in those total participation moments to ensure students are engaged? How do you still bring in student voice through everything as well? And like I also mentioned, we're an arts integration school, which is a huge thing for us. And so if you're not familiar with arts integration, it's taking the arts standards as long as the academic standards and infusing them through like movement or dance, different ways. And so we had to get really creative in order to, make things continue to happen. But we did. We shifted. Our students had, and parents especially, had to learn, how to get into, and we were a little different where Indianapolis Public Schools was using Teams. We chose to use Zoom. And so we were also operating on a couple different platforms compared to the main district. We also, within the building, we didn't have a technology person in the building. And so to now have, 615 students that have devices, kindergarten through 8th grade, we have one of our staff members who has completely taken the role of being our technology coordinator and problem solves all the different devices, help support. We also came up with, how are we going to still use, our support staff during the pandemic time when we are 100% remote? And so we figured out ways to get them involved with calling students, calling parents, checking in, offering additional support, any way that we could to make sure that our students had what they need. And not to mention during that time with the learning, but just the food as well. And so Indianapolis Public Schools also did an amazing job of making sure that, that side of everything was met for our students as well.
Yeah, we were in Indianapolis earlier this year. So I love your wins because I forget if she was with Indianapolis itself or another district, but we had a superintendent come and speak, and she had, I think she said she needed 101 bus drivers. She only had 89. She had to move her food service people while they went back into bus driving. So now the kids only got salami or peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because there was no time for hot food anymore. The challenges are real, people. These are real. Super proud of you for doing, continue to work within the arts, the type of curriculum parameters that you're doing, Amy, because a lot of the analyst work in some of the stories at the teacher level was what a teacher did to miraculously pull off something vaguely similar or spot on, right, with what they were doing before. And some of the most interesting stories we saw were the music teachers and anything in phys ed, right? Also the science. There was like teachers who were like, I put the fish tanks in my garage and then we were studying the frogs and blah, 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 blah. My garage was overrun with little animals because we're, it's like, wow. Some of the wow stories that we were able to hear were like, one teacher, there was a music teacher, as you're probably really familiar with being in the arts, was like, you know, I had a choir before, a whole chorus, and then I lost a bunch of those kids, and then I learned how to do music recordings and listening by ear and being able to put the music behind the individual student's voice and then edit it all and give them back an original recording. I'm like, holy cow, this is so different, right? Just that one field, like from where we were. So thank you.
Yeah,
Did
and
want to make a comment?
Yeah, I was just gonna say we have, 10 arts educators in our building. So we offer things as, we have a dance studio in our building. We have a black box theater. We have obviously multiple different visual arts. Our PE teacher also teaches color guard to our students as well. So that was, I would also say, one of the most remarkable things too is seeing, most arts teachers are very creative anyway, but to see how they were able to, adjust their instruction to still, we know as an arts building too, the impact that the music and the arts has on a lot of our kids. And so they get a lot of unique opportunities at Edison to experience that. And so we wanted to make sure that that was still something that we were able to offer to our students during this time.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, so I want to go into sort of the overall view of your institution from a where are you going now view, so people can sort of clue into what they might want to do to be winning an EduJedi level because they're following you guys. So let's start with that. So Carla, what's next as you go into the new year, and what issues are you grappling with? What technology issues, also human issues? Just spill the beans on where you're going.
Well, all right, I will. As we are back in classrooms, it's the way teachers are responding is to go back to what they've always known and done. We don't want that for them. We want them to continue to keep the momentum, to continue to learn and use technology in an effective way for teaching and learning. So for us, we're putting a focus on blended learning. We want to make it the norm, not the exception. We want to work with them, to help them with our teachers and our administrators, to help them build capacity to use the technology, to understand how it should be used, and give them the tools that they need to be able to do that. So with that, we were able to, through a bulk purchasing program with the state of Texas, purchase 5,000 Chromebooks. That was a lot. So we added, so now we have 14,000 in our district, 14,000 mobile devices. That's fantastic. That's a whole nother issue though, management. But with that came, because we purchased ours through Dell, came some professional development days. So we have had the opportunity to work with advanced learning partners partnerships to develop for our teachers and our administrators toolkits aligned to the 4 C's, because we're focusing on those, and aligned with our teacher evaluation system that is called T-TEST in Texas. We want to provide them with tools to understand, okay, why should I do this? How do I start? What are some resources that I can read, that I can have on hand, that can help me understand this more? And then how can I do it? That's going to involve people as well. That's going to involve support with our instructional technology staff, absolutely. But it's going to arm our teachers with the tools to carry on individually until they can get that support from our three IT coordinators. So, and then for the administrators, we want to help them to understand what are those look-fors in blended learning, in digital learning, that you are also looking for in your classroom, but what does it look like there? So we're aligning it, like I said, with our T-TEST evaluation system to help our teachers goes from teacher-centered to student-centered. There are 4 or 5 levels along the way. So how do we get them to distinguished on that spectrum for on their evaluation. So we're really excited about offering that. We're going to introduce it to our principals in January. So I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, you might need to use a few of the little EduJedi symbols for like the highest level or something. Like, and then give them a little plastic lightsaber like we do all the EduJedi.
That's a
Because,
great.
you know, because a plastic lightsaber is the thing, you know. So, okay, great. Awesome. All right. So, Dr. Brinson, same line, like, where are you going? What are your priorities?
So I'm going to say this before I forget. I'll circle back, Miss Carla, when she was just talking about a lot of the things that her and her team are doing. I'm going to share as well. It's so aligned, and we have never talked to never meet. So that's affirmation. So I'm really proud about that. But what I'll start with is one of the things that we're most looking forward to is we have a newly appointed superintendent, Dr. Adrian Bottle, phenomenal woman and superintendent, and she has led the charge of what our district calls every student known. And even this year, she laser focused that and said personally known. So one of the things we're doing within our team, Instructional Tech and Library Services, is really aligning the district vision with what that looks like in our realm. So for us, we came up with 4 what we call focus areas to align with the district. So the 4 things that we believe in are partnerships, teaching and learning, advocating and elevating, and service and support. And in those focus areas, some of the things that we are really excited about is, as Carla said, blended learning. We too are creating what we call look-fors, exact same word. And what we did is aligned our team. So in Tennessee, we use teams, our team rubrics. And our main reason for doing that is that we wanted admin, so my colleagues here who are principals, to not look at the look-fors as gotchas, but these are tools. But these are strategies that your teachers should be using throughout the week, month, year, not a day, right? Because sometimes when you go into a classroom and want to see blended learning, if you don't see it in 5 minutes, then that teacher gets marked down, right? So we were very intentional with actually meeting with principals, our executive directors in our district. Those are our principals who are over our principals. So we got a chance to really work with them to define what blended learning looks like in MNPS. So our first step for this year is for all of our teachers to go through an asynchronous course called the What and Why of Blended Learning. So next school year, we're going to hit the ground running with implementing those look-fors and really thinking through what does your online and offline presence look like? How do you use assessments through technology? Another thing, because again, library services is my heart and a realm of my responsibility too. One of the things we're really focused on in that area is really advocacy and letting our curriculum team and just our MNPS community know that our librarians are so instrumental in literacy, not only literacy, but they also can serve as instructional experts when teachers are looking for someone to bounce ideas off of or even provide resources. So really thinking through how to advocate and allow our principals, staff to see librarians as partners and not just someone who checks out books.
I love that. I love that. I think there's a whole title shift coming. It's a digital librarian or digital navigation specialist dude or dudette. You know, it's something. Yeah, I love it. Love it what you said, Lakisha. Okay, so Tekeshia, what are your thoughts? Like where are you leading? Where are you going? Can you give us a sneak peek?
Sure. Similarly to the other ladies, we're really talking about how to integrate the technology that we've learned. And we have a very veteran staff and what they've been doing for 20 plus years. And really trying to work on buy-in for some of the teachers with this learning management system, because some of them that are technology averse are are really just like, it's just yet another thing, right? And trying to get them to see that this other thing can help give you more time back if used appropriately. So we're doing a lot of training around how to appropriately use the technology in this blended environment, and just trying to make sure that we're not just training and transitioning with teachers only, but we have our technology specialist that comes in the building once a week to do little lunch and learn sessions with the students to help them learn how to navigate, and then having lunch and learn sessions with the parents as well, but also keeping the doors open, meaning continuing to do a hybrid model of meetings where, you know, to be honest, we had more parent engagement with meetings than we ever had during the pandemic, because they can do it while doing all the other things that life makes you have to do as a parent. So trying to keep those avenues open, but using like the pedagogy wheel to use technology in the appropriate time. So we are heavy in the arts, like the other panelists. You know, we have a black box theater, like she said. We have a news station studio in the building too, where the kids create their own news media broadcast. So it's trying to use technology appropriately and show people that are technology averse that you can still do this work and buy in. And that's from students all the way up to parents, because some students are technology averse as well. So just keeping those things in mind and building in those SEO moments within that.
Yeah, I love all that. I love all the branches of community that you're really creating. And I really want to come back to that, Tekeshia, because that'll be my final round of questions for all of you guys. How community has changed everything. Like going digital created a collaborative effort like we've never seen before. Okay, so Amy, what are your thoughts? What are you going to be doing this next year?
So one I think possibly difference in with everybody else is we are no longer offering a 100% virtual option. This year, we do have within Indianapolis Public Schools, we have two schools that are offering just virtual. But the difference this year is that if like an Edison student, for example, chooses to do the virtual program, they are now a student at that school. And so with that, there's a lot of things that we're just continuing to build off of to continue to get stronger in certain areas. Obviously, we've seen the need increase drastically for social emotional learning. So we're trying to, we have, curriculum for that across our entire school. So we're trying to build off of that to really also continue to meet those needs of our students as well. And then we're also, having a K-8 building, we're trying to keep the balance too, especially in our younger grades, of like, how do you keep your students fluent on the technology, but also ensure that they're getting those fine motor skills that they desperately need, that a lot of even our first graders lacked, last year. I mean, we have, some of our first grade students who this was their first time coming into a school building. And so, but we obviously still want to make sure that our students know how to get on their device, how to access Google Classroom, how to access, we've, also, since last year adopted, use like Raz Kids and Zern. Zern has also been a great tool for us to use to help accelerate, not remediate some of the lost learning, especially in math. So, those are just some of the things we're continuing to work on and plug through. And I will say, most of our teachers made a really good flip over to everything. But again, like everyone has said too, we have some where it's like, well, they're here now, but it's, we don't know from day to day what is going to possibly happen. And we have to make sure, I think now moving forward at all times, that we have to be able to flip pretty quick to be able to make sure we're still educating our kids.
Yeah, completely agree with you. also really believe, as you guys, if you were on earlier, you heard me say the data is pointing to the fact that normal is never coming back. And it's not, because the American population is expecting more. They're expecting fully blended or hybrid high flex model. They want that. They want to have community there. So let's talk about what happened that was so fantastic, I believe, as we sort of wrap up this hour. You know, all of a sudden everybody had to go digital, right? And it caused teachers to collaborate with their other fellow teachers, and it caused every teacher and every administration to have constant communication with parents and kids, and tracking down kids, and then doing things like you don't have to have your cameras on, but now we can't tell if you're even there anymore. So now please put your cameras back on. You know, like there's a lot of stuff happening, but I want to focus on the collaborative sharing culture shift, because we didn't used to have to do that hardly at all when everyone was in their little walled garden teacherness kingdom of their classroom. But all of a sudden there was this, parents are in my face, students are in my face, I'm like digital traffic extraordinary, you know, and stuff is happening. And we suddenly, this was huge. Like in just 2 years, we had a mass culture shift to collaborate more, share more, and most importantly, be truly part of a group as a teacher in every direction. And some people made it and some people really didn't. So I want to talk about what you're seeing and the wins that you've been hearing, because this is big. This is a big shift. And it's great, but it had some points along the way. So how about if we go reverse order this time? Are you guys game? Carla, can you wait that long? Okay. All right. Okay, cool. All right. So Amy, what are your thoughts on that? That culture change, that collaborative, suddenly, wow, parents and stuff.
You know, I think for us at least, we've found that it's really strengthened. And I'm sorry, we're getting ready to have dismissal, so I might have to end up going on mute so you don't hear all of our dismissal stuff happening. Okay. But if you know, the one thing I've really noticed through this too that I think has continued to strengthen is the community that we've built with our families now. You know, I feel like they've really grown to feel more personally connected with our staff, with our building, you know, and I just see that as something that's positively helped us and continues to help us grow. You know, parents reach out to the teachers, and there's just a much more collaborative team approach to educating, you know, all the students right now.
Yeah, it's that teamness that is such a gift, I think, now emerging from the last 2 years. I just love it. And okay, so Tekeshia, you're next, and you mentioned this a little bit earlier. What are your thoughts on this whole area? Because this is a big difference, I think.
It is a huge difference because, you know, we're high school. So this is when normally the parents want to say, I've done everything I was supposed to do, and now you all take them and lead them to the finish line. So it's been a huge difference just with the amount of engagement from parents. And so much so, like I said, our Hispanic population is growing. We ended up hiring a bilingual engagement specialist so that we, like, one of the people were saying, we're trying to think about what are the personal needs and coming together and really thinking about the equity of it all. The parents have been excellent with that because they're always like, what can I do? What can I give to those who don't have? So, you know, it was very interesting when we were trying to figure out the wireless piece of it all. And it's like, yeah, you can buy the wireless router modem, but who's going to pay this monthly bill? Like, it becomes these other things that you have to think about that we've never had to think about before. But it's been truly inspirational, especially during this pandemic, that you have so many people trying to find, you know, even with us trying to accelerate the learning for some, you know, parents saying, well, I know someone who can do after school tutorial for the math. So it's just, the network has just become greater, and it only benefits the students. It's just sometimes a little overwhelming to manage it all, but it is definitely benefiting the students. And to our media specialists, the number of students that are checking out books from the Media Center and reading has increased dramatically. It's weird to see them at lunch in the corner reading. It's just really been good. And the donations, as far as those things are concerned, I have no complaints. Schoology does help too, because the parents can still be involved even though they're not physically in the building, because we're like 95% back to all in person, but they can still go into Schoology from a view-only perspective and see the lecture, the notes, the guided notes, what classwork, and still be a part and be engaged in the learning process, and it's helped.
Yeah, that's such a positive. It's so delightful to hear that, because when you're an outsider like me and you're listening to you guys talk about this, I'm seeing like that you coalesced into a fighting force. Like you became a solid gold community is what you just became, right? People are all talking to each other in 9 directions, right? This is just, it's actually a really beautiful outcome of something that's been really horrible, right? Okay, so Lakisha, what are your thoughts on this whole community outgrowth of things?
I agree with my colleagues. What I would add on is one of the things that, again, our superintendent really charged us with was thinking through what is family, right? So we, even in this call, are using the word parent, but we know that in many of our schools, it's grandparents, it's aunts, it's uncles, it's older brothers, older sisters, right? So how do we provide resources for the entire family, right? We really, under our superintendent, really partnered with our YMCAs, our big brother and sisters, our churches, all those communities, and we were able to actually do trainings with them on the different platforms that our students were using to share with them different strategies that they could use at home. Another thing under our superintendent that we really did is created what we call virtual tech sites. So what our parents were able to do is to bring in their devices. One, we gave out devices at these sites, but after we had them all out, parents, brothers, sisters had a hard time navigating. Some of that our team really had to think through. It helped us think through, we don't have a template for what Schoology should look like across grades, across teachers, across school. So when people would come to these tech sites, they couldn't find how to get into Teams link, how to find that math assignment. So I think really the community was really a community. It was churches, it was big brothers, it was grandparents, which, like you said, is a beautiful thing, but I also think it exposes a lot more of those inequities in how I think as adults, sometimes even know how to provide what someone needs, right? We thought it was hotspots when it really was, I have nowhere quiet to do my work, right? So it really helped us think through our responsibility and what resources we could provide to the larger community.
Yeah, I like that you said that. There was a discovery too in all this. Not just community, but discover of the state of the community in order to drive equity, right? You have to know what you're dealing with. And it all came out. Yeah, well, that's awesome. Okay, so Carla, you're sharing. Bring us into the finish line here, and then I'll have a couple minutes here for questions too for people at the very end. But we have 11 full minutes, plenty of time for us to just chat away. So let it rip.
Well, that's one of the things I was thinking earlier. I would love to just have some time with just these other 3 ladies, just to talk about what they're doing. So I may have to hook up with y'all on Zoom or Teams. So when you said community, I thought about community on several different levels. So of course, there's our outside of the school district community, our parents, our businesses, everyone that we don't deal with every day. But so I know that the things that we're keeping, that we had to do, that we're keeping, like Zoom. Think about parent conferences. We don't have to have parent conferences, for a whole day and into the evening now. Our teachers can schedule those conferences at the convenience of them and the parents as well. So that's a really good thing. On another level, with device checkout, we've been able, of course, our department did it at first. We realized we didn't want to be in that business anymore, but we've been able to transfer that because of some applications we've been able to purchase that we learned that we needed through all this, right? To our librarians, our digital media specialists, so that they can own that. The schools can own that. They have those available to them now. So that's a whole nother level. When I think about, as far in the parents and students as well, the digital resources, we have pages on our website that have specific resources for Schoology, for Google, for whatever other application kids are using. And we also have digital citizenship and security resources for them as well, because that has also been amplified through all of this too. But then when I get to thinking about blended learning, that community, that collaboration has to come with our curriculum folks. We've been fortunate to informally partner with the folks at Bryan ISD. They have helped us through this Schoology implementation because, bless their hearts, they did it in 2 weeks. We took some time, but so they've got it down. And one of the things that they said to us that I held on to is that, first of all, we want our parents to partner with our students in their learning. Love that. So that's been our philosophy as well, even before we opened the parent portal in Schoology to parents. And the idea that we cannot do this alone. If technology tries to do blended learning, it's just a technology. It's just a technology thing, something else they want us to do. We don't have time for that. Now, we'll work it in. But when we partner with our colleagues who are the content experts to help them model and understand how technology can effectively be integrated, then it becomes permission for teachers to use it, an expectation for teachers to integrate. So I'm really excited about that community collaboration as well. So what, like you said, LeiLani, it was a terrible thing, but a lot of really good things came out of it, and especially the engagement with our community on whatever level that is. That was a really good thing.
Love it. I love the way all of you guys said what you said, and that is like, more work to be done, basically, but there was some good that come out of all this. And it exposed things that we didn't know before. I think maybe we were a little generic about our address to equity a lot of times, but now we're looking at it and going, holy cow, a lot of work to be done here and way deeper than we thought. So this is an amazing moment for everybody. So I'm going to make sure that anybody who's on the line right now, if they want to ask any questions of these awesome EduJedi Innovator Awardees, please do. I'm going to make sure I reshare your slides. I did share them, I think, briefly, but not at the appropriate moment originally when I was supposed to be sharing them. Just to make sure everybody knows what your awards were, so you are familiar with this. So again, SCUCISD, that's going to be one I have to try to remember, Carla, because that's hard. I just want to call you Schertz. You're just Schertz to me. But okay. Yeah, and you're over 16,000 now, some students. Awarded for rapid implementation. You guys did a whole thing, and that's an overnight thing, and that's not easy, and I'm very proud of you for doing that. So you're going to take away this innovator badge. By the way, anyone in the district can use the little EduJedi badge. It doesn't have to be just you. Although you could go flash it around, just be super Miss Popularity.
So you're saying you have to share?
Yeah, you don't have to. You just don't tell me about it.
I will.
Okay. All right. And Metro Nashville, also amazing and awarded for driving towards personalized learning with a robust digital transition, including student dashboards, creating individual agency. I wish I could talk to you a little bit more about that. Lakeisha, because you have a whole student agency play there. Like that changes so much behavior when you personally have more visibility into how you are doing. So maybe I'll have you do a final comment when I finish this slide, because that's a beautiful thing. It's one of the reasons we picked you. And then also Atlanta Public Midtown High School awarded for attention to tech details within a sophisticated strategy and continuous measurement. Just having your own, and you said it was Schoology, so our slide's wrong. We thought you had Infinite Campus. But that's a miracle right there. You're doing all of your own stuff and being a real true leader as a group over there. Amazing. And then also Edison High School, the Edison School of the Arts, right? Indianapolis Public Schools is really, this slide should really say the name of your school specifically. Amy, but we'll fix that for you when we send it out to you. Awarded for providing your access, but really more that particularized focus on enhanced personalization and what you did during the pandemic to transform yourself in digital transition is really the purpose. Like I said before, any one of these awards, sometimes our awardees are going to say, but that's not everything that we did, or maybe you worded that different. I just want you to know, we could have written 16 pages on you. We did that much in-depth look. And some of you have been talking to us already earlier, so we know more about you than we could possibly write about. But this is a huge and a big honor for the sheer number of people that applied. So I want you to know all that is going on. And let's, I think we have, 2 more minutes left here? And let's do a little final comment about that student agency part from Dr. Lakeisha Brinston. Yeah, we've got 3 minutes. So your comments on that, because that's amazing that transformation has occurred there. Maybe it's old hat to you, but it's going to be new to a lot of other people. So any final comments on that?
Again, my superintendent, Dr. Adrienne Battles, she really is laser focused on using data to drive instruction, and really believes that it's not just the educators or central office who owns that work, that it is the student. So we have something that we're taglining as the parent dashboard, parent and student dashboard. So what happens is at Schoology and Infinite Campus, we are partnering with both vendors to make sure that both systems work, right? Right now, there are some kinks, there are some things we're working out, but we want our parents to be able to go to both portals for different things, but to get the same results. So when you go to Schoology, you're really looking at the lectures, the assignments, the actual interaction with the coursework. When you go to Infinite Campus, you're looking holistically at track records and estimations of where you'll be in high school and records. The beauty of that is that our middle schools and high schools then take those reports from both platforms and now are leading their own student conferences throughout the district. So really making sure that students understand their data and understand the trajectory of their life. And I did drop this in chat, but I have to say that we are an Office 365 Microsoft district. No offense to Google, but to make sure that's out in there.
So we got to fix that part. I don't know how that ended up there. We got to add Schoology there. You probably have a ton of other stuff.
Yeah, but that's Schoology and Office 365. So yeah, hats off to our superintendent, personally known. It's a lot of work that's going on in all avenues for that.
Yeah, well, congratulations on all of that. This award is for your whole district, so share it away. All right, okay, so I want to thank all of you guys again. My illustrious panelists, Dr. Carla Burkholder, thank you very much. Dr. Lakeisha Brinston, thank you also for joining us and sharing all of your wisdoms. Keisha Hollis, thank you very much. And of course, your whole team, your whole school, and Amy Berns, you too. Thank you very much. Thank you for being a levels winner. And we'll release you back into the wild. Feel free to share there. Stay on though for the rest of the day, because there's going to be so much more that you will learn. But thanks again.